The 2 Cent Report!
Good hello, good evening, good night. My name is Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey.
Yes, from The Truman Show.
From The Truman Show.
Not really.
I was waiting for it.
Yeah, I'm not a weird method actor. My name is actually Justin, a.k.a. Elsie Lupus. And you are?
I'm Tristan,
Just Tristan. Or Lord Kumquat.
Whichever you prefer, once in
Whichever you
Tristan.
prefer. You always have to come in a quat.
Hey, it's 4 times, isn't it? Or it's the 4th of something.
Yes.
Every 4 days.
Every 4 days you come in a quad.
Starting to look like an orange now. I folded up so much.
Anyway.
More like a grapefruit.
So today, on the wonderful 2 Cent Report, which is us, because I'm 1 cent and you are 2 cents.
Yes. I'm the other 1 cent, not really 2 cent. I'm
True,
1
so that would
cent.
make us 3 cents.
Yes.
And then we'd be, getting close to a quarter of the way to a chappie 15 years ago.
And we don't mean Chappie as a person.
Well, we don't mean Chappie the robot from the film Chappie. We're talking about what Chappie was obviously named after, because it is a South African film.
Yes.
Yes.
But you still haven't told them. It's
About Chappie.
It's supposed to be bubble gum, but actually it's chewing gum.
Is there a difference?
Yes.
Well, you can blow chappies.
Yes, you
Know
can.
what I mean?
And
Like
also
bubbles.
You could, yes.
Yes.
You can blow bubbles out of chappies, and it's actually bubble gum. But recent years, the bubbleness, the elasticity is kind of gone.
Oh.
So now it's just chewing gum.
I don't really chew on much gum anymore. Not since I hit my 20s.
Indigestion's a thing, hey?
No, you know what? It actually does make you hungry. It's weird.
Yeah, it does.
Because your mouth is chewing, and so your body's preparing, and then no food ever goes there.
And it's always these vibrant tastes and stuff in your mouth.
For the first 5 minutes.
yeah, fair enough.
And then you're chewing on a rubber.
There was an Infinite where the whole thing was it lasts longer, but like, don't call yourself infinite if you don't last
forever.
Yeah, exactly, right? It's like, I love how brands like to, they're like, oh, we got this infinity thing, and like,
yeah,
because it lasts long. Yes, that's why we call it infinity. So it lasts as long.
Also,
and you're like,
isn't the new Halo is calling itself Halo Infinite?
Yeah,
so they can't have an Infinite.
But they're having a Bioshock problem. Because remember, Bioshock, the next Bioshock released after Infinite.
I wonder if they'll have like a Bioshock 4, or they'll just have a different name. Bioshock Finite.
So that's great.
That's great. Anyway, today we'll pretty much mostly be talking about E3. But first we have a few things.
First of all, it's a very sad announcement we'll have to make.
I'm dying.
Well, he's moving away from me, so
Yeah.
we won't have this awesome quality on both ends. You're going to have to listen to me through a glass on a door.
Yeah.
But until I get a microphone, we'll see. But there's more depressing news than him leaving me, and that's there are no acquisitions.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
There's
It's
nothing.
It's the first time there's been no acquisitions that I've seen.
No crazy CEOs.
No. In the lead up to E3, people just... They do nothing.
And then the epic Apple thing was now supposed to be settled out of court or something like that.
Yeah, that
So-
also happens. Anyway, so might as well. We are basically 3+1 news stories before E3, because the +1, I'm like, it's a weird one because it's not really like a regular news story, but it's about a mod, which is still interesting, but it's not like official games industry. Also, you might hear the sound of a dog. She's come to say hello, and now she is leaving again. Cool. Anyway, so shall we get started?
Yes.
So, the first thing, do you know who Quantic Dream is? It's a developer.
No.
Okay, so
I think I do.
Quantic Dream made Fahrenheit, and then they made that one with Elliot Page,
No.
and then they made Detroit Become Human as the latest one.
Okay, no.
Yeah, so they've often been quite console-y. My dog is still walking around. She's looking at us. You can go back to the couch.
Nice catch on the Elliot. It threw me off there for a moment.
And yeah, they make sort of a narrative games. But they have ones where, because I've only played Fahrenheit. Fahrenheit has an amazing opening, and then halfway through it fucking goes off the rails. And apparently that's sort of what all of their games do. They have like a good premise or something, and then it just goes off the rails part way in, and it becomes ridiculous. And he's also a guy, the guy who's in charge, Devil Cage. He's a Frenchman, and he thinks very, very highly of himself. And only in my work do we explore real emotions. That was like an actual quote of his about one of his games. He's like, no, we look at emotions. You wouldn't understand. He's not a great guy. He's just a bit of an irritating twat. But he went to court recently. Quantic Dream went to court because it turns out that there was a bunch of, sexual harassment and bullying.
Oh, wait, I think I've heard about this.
You might have heard about this, but it's what's great. Absolutely great. Don't read that because it'll make you laugh. So, they're at court, right, for this. Now, basically, they've taken a newspaper to court because the newspaper uncovered, I think 2 French newspapers uncovered the stuff. They did investigative journalism, and they found that you guys are shitheads.
Well, also, for them to start the trial, there has to be somebody, the whistleblower.
Yeah, basically, yes.
So,
but now David Cage and the other guy who's in charge, whose name I don't know, because probably no one cares, but there is another guy. Guillemard de Fontaine.
No, you just didn't want to pronounce his name.
Anyway, that guy. So they're both in court about, because this is defamation. They said, oh no, these companies are like, attacking us. Picking on us. This independent journalist picking on us. And then David Cage, he started screaming on stage about how, like, they're attacking his honor, and then he walked out the court. He just left.
Drama queen.
Yes. And then I want to get the exact quote. This is what the other guy, De Fontaine, he was then, before he started, this was his own thing. He looked at the judges, and then he said, but I'm not under oath, so I can lie. And then proceeded to tell his story.
Why would you say that? My fucking God. You dumb motherfucker. Oh my God.
Now that, I just love the idea. You just
that's entitlement. You can't catch me.
But that is also, I'm not an oath, right? Like, obviously, people are typing this in because it's all part of the transcript. It's like, I'm allowed to lie, right?
Because if I didn't, then, why are we doing this?
So, yeah, basically, he said, am I allowed to lie? And then proceeded to lie a bunch. So, yeah, that's them. They're
because anybody that asks that question, you immediately know.
Yes. If someone asks, ever, if you ask someone a question and they say, am I allowed to lie? You know they're about to lie. So
whenever you want to tell the truth and then say it's a lie, use that method.
Yes.
Because then you can say at the end, but I told you about it.
So that's basically what they decided to do for whatever fucking reason. Like, anyway. Now, another one is just that we have a departure. He departed from SEGA. And for a second I was like, I know exactly who this is. And now I'm suddenly second guessing myself.
Everybody knows that you draw blanks all the time.
I do. I shoot blanks. I draw blanks. Okay, yeah, I was pretty much right. So, I was correct. Yuji Naka, who's a guy who's was at SEGA for ages, and he kind of made a lot of the Sonic games. And then he ended up making this game, which I've never played, but I remember hearing about it. It's called Balan Wonderworld. Yeah, it didn't do very well financially, so now he's leaving SEGA. I don't know if it's sort of he was forced to leave or anything like that, but he just seems to have just sort of been like, yeah, because I'm...
Because if there was anything said about him blaming SEGA for the outcome,
yeah,
that's kind of like, okay, that makes sense. But if it's just I'm gonna leave, that's kind of like admitting that, like, is he done?
Yeah, it's unclear kind of at this time. what's exactly going to happen. But yeah, just he's a very famous game developer, and he's just sort of, because I mean, Sonic is, they haven't really had a good game since the 90s.
They had a good movie.
Yeah, actually, yes, the movie was very fun. I enjoyed the movie, but they haven't really had a good game since like.
Yeah, but they're working on the logic now, because now they're like
Sonic 2.
If we listen to people and we correct our faults, then maybe people will like us.
Yeah, they were weird.
Someone never told Fast and the Furious.
So that's just something small. Now this is just something interesting. Mm-hmm. Do you know who Dark Horse Comics are? Okay, so Dark Horse Comics is going to be starting their own game division. They want to make games based on some of their properties. And if you know some of their properties, things like Hellboy, The Darkness, they've got some pretty good
properties.
They've got some pretty good properties. That should be
that they tried doing the movie thing with as well.
But yeah, they never. I mean, I think a lot of their stuff is like really, really cool, but it just never seems to have gotten to anywhere near the same of like a Marvel or a.
It's because the fanboys are fighting.
Yeah, probably.
Dark Horse fanboys don't fight with DC and
they don't care.
And Marvel. Fuck them. They need to fight with.
Yeah.
It's as I'm gonna say, it's like the console wars.
Yeah.
There's the console wars are more people are investing more into it. It's like if the two are fighting, you can do what you please, because they never gonna look at you and be like, oh, that's a threat, because they're always fighting with each other, like rich people and putting the and putting minority against minority.
Yeah.
It's
you just make the poors fight each other.
Yeah, then
it's but yeah, so that's pretty much interesting. We'll see what comes. It's still only just the beginning of an announcement. It's very small. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. But yeah, should be cool.
No, but yeah.
I mean, I really enjoyed the Darkness games that were made. They obviously weren't made by Dark Horse because they didn't have a game division. But they were great. I enjoyed them. So it should be cool to see. I mean, Hellboy is a really cool property.
It's a very big property.
And it never got the justice it deserved. Like, I liked the first movie. And the second movie wasn't very good. And then they made like a new one, but I never saw that, and I heard it's not very good.
Yeah.
Like one that came out like a year or two ago.
I would say like the new one for me, when I look at it, I get a heavy like studio vibe. Like the studio caused a lot of problems. Because the acting, for me at least, I was like, wow. And you look at these people and like, you look at the length of what they went to go, not just retain the comic book Hellboy, but the one we knew before.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of effort put in. So I think it's just one of those studio messes where it's either inexperience or just straight up just fuckery with everything.
Also, I keep forgetting his name, but the guy who played the original in the early 2000s Hellboy movies. I always forget.
You can't remember anybody's name.
I can't remember his name. Leave me alone. But he is awesome. Ron Perlman. Yes. Ron Perlman. And he's also the voice to gamers. He's a very famous guy because he's the guy that does all the Fallout intros.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm always just like, you're everywhere, my man.
For me, he's the guy with the big jaw.
Yes.
He does. He's got this massive jaw, and he's a really cool guy.
He was actually also in a GTA game.
Yes.
He was in Lost and Damned. He was a bit of a shithead character, but he was also in the best Alien movie. Alien Resurrection. I know it's your favourite one.
Oh, I didn't speak about that.
He was in the best one, Tristan.
It's not the best one.
It's the best one.
It's not.
The best one's the first one.
Yes. Well, technically the second one.
No, first one. No. It's fine.
No.
You're allowed. No, you.
It was the best Aliens movie.
Well, yeah, because the rest of them were kind of Aliens movies. The first one's sort of
No, the first one was Alien.
Made.
So I'll give you that. It's the best Aliens movie.
Okay, fine. Now
first one can suck a dick.
So the last story before E3, because the radio wasn't much, and this is just a mod, which I think it looks interesting, was they made a mod to set, basically it's like a kind of a total conversion-ish type mod for Fallout 4, but it's going to be set in London, and they've recreated like the whole of London in it, which I just thought, I mean, I've always been like, why don't they make a Fallout game not in the United States? The rest of the world exists. Surely it was all destroyed in this giant war. So,
but maybe here's my thoughts on that. Maybe Voltec was an American company.
Yeah, I'm assuming Voltec.
So I'm guessing like the heart, the child that grew into Fallout was.
Yeah, but it'd still be interesting to see.
You know how Exile, their whole thing was, it was easier to model over like the Valley of Death, because they didn't have a very much like luscious world in the first two. Very much dry and barren, like the Valley of Death, the American deserts and stuff. They had a very big impact.
Yeah.
Also, like, have you drove to like around Vegas area? Have you seen movies that take place around Vegas? Worst fucking biome ever. Perfect for Fallout levels.
Your favorite biome, because I know how much you love deserts. I mean, kind of every Fallout is in a desert. It's a wasteland.
It's a wasteland, but I think with them putting 4 in the Commonwealth added a lot more opportunity to add houses, justify houses.
Yeah, true.
Because you know, the first one was the Vegas was Mojave.
Yeah.
Then the Capital Wasteland.
Yeah.
But the Capital Wasteland was like Bethesda trying to. Thing is, Obsidian went back to that desert biome.
Yeah.
But Bethesda said, like, what happens if it has to happen near a city? Yeah, there's going to be, you get desert outside, but it's not desert, it's just wasteland.
Yeah.
Whereas New Vegas obviously took it.
Yeah, that is a desert.
To the desert.
Yeah, although you like New Vegas, though.
I do.
Yeah.
I got no problem with it.
Despite the biome.
No, it's, I started really enjoying it when, I started modding it out. No, just joking. I enjoyed it, but those were my still like early days of, okay, it's a biome, it's a desert biome, but there's a lot to do. Like, I couldn't get into the idea of Origin, Assassin's Creed Origin, because I'm like, oh my god. Because first of all, PTSD from every little fucking collectible over a Ubisoft map, and then you still want me to traverse a fucking desert? You can fuck off. That's just straight up. Like, when the essence is not focused on desert because it's large and expansive, but able to incorporate things like, obviously, with Spec Ops: The Line, there was a city in a desert, but it wasn't desert biome. There's there's the Rage. The Rage 1, because I didn't play Rage 2. Rage 1 has that desert focus, but it's still this stuff to do. It's not like when I get to, like, even Cyberpunk has like a very deserty biome that I wasn't looking forward to. Like, when I saw the trailers of it, I was. Although
it is mostly set in the city, though.
Yeah, but like, it's like when I see desert, I get like long trip travels. It's hot. When I look at, I don't like the look of it. It doesn't really look like the orange or red sands. I'm not a big fan of dust and dirt, because you know why? I've lived in Pretoria. I've lived in Johannesburg. I know what you know what they don't tell you about that beautiful biome? The amount of dust and dirt you accumulate in your nose and in your mouth, and how dry it is, and the fact that you can't even sweat because everything just evaporates and then it becomes dry and chafy. It's a horrible environment. There's a reason why plants don't want to be there.
Yeah, we were like, let's live here.
Because it's got enough land, and for some reason people somehow found water in the ground. So in a desert, the best thing to do is to lower the water level, because that will improve the desert.
Because people fuck off.
Ends up looking like the Sahara.
So, now on to E3. Yes. You have more to say than me about E3.
Yes, but let's get through your mumbo jumbo, and then we can
mumbo jumbo.
Then we can do the shooting off the games I've got a problem with.
All right, cool. So, obviously we're going to go through kind of like each of the big showcases, but I only really have 3 things that I actually care about.
From E3.
3 E's from E3. 3 examples. So, Elden Ring, just because I am a Dark Souls nerd. Although I'm like a sad Dark Souls nerd, because I've only actually played Demon Souls and Dark Souls 1, because I just never got the second one on PS3, and then I didn't have a controller for a long time for PC, so I was like, nah, fucking way in hell am I playing a Dark Souls game with a mouse and keyboard? Jesus Christ. So I was like, yeah, no. So, you know, I have a whole bunch to play. I haven't played 2, 3, Bloodborne because I can't get it, and Sekiro. I haven't played any of them, so I'm a huge fan, and I would like to play this one, but it's just racking up more and more that I need to play.
Then maybe you should play them.
I should. I must get the second one. It came out in 2012 or 2013.
Yeah, but it's on Steam.
Yeah, it's on Steam, so I can get it for cheap. God. But yeah, so Elden Ring a lot of people are excited about Elden Ring just because people like Dark Souls. People are, even people who are like, oh, it's great. I never finished it because it's too hard. I think a lot of people are like that. They're like, yes, it's wonderful. Didn't finish it. I watched someone play it.
I would never stoop that low to watching someone play it.
Okay, I didn't watch any of them, but I watched. I watched like the entirety of like scary games because I refuse to play them myself because I'm a coward.
Yeah, but I would only play the scary games. First of all, if they're actually good, if people say like it's really good, you should play it, and I'll try it out. But then I'll try it in my own way.
Yeah,
I will first play it originally, like vanilla, and then if I don't like the scary aspect of it, I'll be like, okay, cool. Well, I have to make the decision. Don't play it; it's too scary, or I'm a mod it. And most of the times, I just don't play it.
The thing is,
because you take away the essence of the game.
Yeah, but this is why I'm like, I really wanted to see like how Resident Evil 7 played out. I'm not gonna fucking play it. Like, it'll be horrifying. It's terrifying. So I was like, cool. I'm just gonna watch it, and I'll probably do that with Resident Evil 8, which is
DLC.
Village. That's what the new one's called. Yeah, so I haven't watched it yet, so I still have to watch the entire thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
and also like Alien Isolation. I played like an hour and a half of it, and I remember getting into an elevator, and I turned around, and the alien was right behind me, and I just escaped the broom in time, and then he like walks away, because the door closes, and I was like, Jesus Christ, was that scripted, or was he about to kill me?
Both.
And then I didn't play it, and I didn't play it again.
You were like, no, it's okay.
Yeah, it's really scary. But yes, so Elden Ring. Also, a lot of people are obviously kind of like, I think this one has a lot of extra sort of hype behind it than some of the other ones because it's also being written by George R. R. Martin, who wrote Game of Thrones.
Because that ended very well.
That ended very well. To be fair, he didn't finish the books. That other people finished the series for him.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It didn't end. Yeah. So that ended very well. So
yeah, we'll see if that's cool. But yeah, I mean, I'm just excited to see what it ends up becoming because at the moment it's still. We know it's open world. We know that you can have like horses. There hasn't really been that much information sort of
That's good.
shown about it. Which
That's good.
I like.
It's a fucking teaser.
Yeah. So we'll see what eventually comes out. The next thing of mine, which I'm excited about, is Atomic Heart, which is a strange looking thing. A few years ago it was first shown off, and they kind of show you in this sort of, it's like a big open world-ish kind of, I don't know if it's actually open world, but I think it looks open world. Mm-hmm. And the original sort of trailer, the gameplay trailer, is you sort of entering this like facility, and there are these like robots that look like people. They're like android type things. As you shoot them, like the coverings that are like making them look human gets like blown away, like that kind of vibes. Very it's kind of like you think of like that kind of an alien. Kind of like a cyborg type thing, like you might see in. Remember iRobot?
Yes.
With Will Smith, the alien, the robots kind of look like that.
You sound like aliens, aren't you? There's something.
Yeah,
there's something in your head that's like aliens.
Yeah. I keep thinking aliens. It's probably because it is weird. It's kind of alien-ish. The things that are happening, like you saw the trailer.
It reminds me of
weird.
Of Control with the way the effects are displayed.
Yeah, but it looks like
It looks like technology that can use force.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like weird sort of because it's also made by a Russian studio, and anything that's made by Eastern Europeans is probably going to be unhappy, probably going to be kind of weird. Like Metro kind of thing also has the weird parts in it. And it's never happy. It probably won't be happy. And it has that weird sort of... It kind of has like a carousel look. Like it's kind of carnival-y.
I've got this belief.
Yes.
That a country can only be truly happy if they nuke twice.
Well, only one country has been nuked twice.
And there's some really happy content coming out of there.
True. Yeah, maybe that's why that's why Nintendo keeps shutting out happiness.
That's what I'm trying to say. Shame. Sorry, guys. I'm just being rude.
Nintendo, my favorite game company. Anyway, the last thing that I'm interested in pretty much is Stalker 2, which is the 4th Stalker game. Because fuck you.
No, but the thing is, there was the Stalker,
there was
the Chronicles of the Chernobyl or something like that.
Yeah, so there was like
and
Stalker.
now this is the second one to that one.
Yeah.
It's kind of like we're getting to like Final Fantasy realm of where it breaks off and where it happens.
Yeah, I think maybe the thing is like, because the first one you play as this guy and you don't know you're playing as the guy. Spoilers! You're told to find this guy called Strelok, and it turns out you are him, but you lost your memory because, of course, it's a video game for 2007. And then in like the second game, it takes place before, and you're trying to kill Strelok.
If this is a spoiler, then fuck you. You should have played the games.
No, like they're not really narratively strong games. It's mostly the world that is like interesting. And like the third game, you meet Strelok because he's still around for some weird reason, and you're just like, okay, so they're all kind of about the same guy. So it all feels like they're all the first one. So I'm hoping that maybe
there was a rumor that this one. Sorry to interrupt you, but this one, there's a rumor that you will be hunting down. You see, this is why I'm like, you're going to be fucking hunting him down because that was the second game. Because why not? No, but now you're a different person.
You are a different person.
Off to go kill him. What I assume.
Yeah.
Leave them alone. They're precious in their own way.
Yeah. But it looks like they're taking a bit of inspiration from the Metro games.
Well, if you know the story behind it.
Yeah, that's what
technically, it's kind of like they had, Stoker had a good idea, but then the people didn't like the company, so they left and made Metro. And then Stalker was going down, and Stalker's like, you know what will really make us look good is if we emulate Exodus.
It's kind of also like how this was like a few years now, but when that new Tomb Raider came out in 2013, and they were clearly copying from Uncharted, and you're like, Uncharted was clearly copying from the original Tomb Raider.
But you're like, exactly, like, you can't blame anyone because both are at fault, but both are just doing it like. The thing is, Uncharted could call it a homage. Yeah. Whereas if Tomb Raider does it, it's just an old guy trying to be relevant.
Although to be fair, like the original Tomb Raiders are kind of a homage to Indiana Jones. And Indiana Jones is like a homage to old Pulp Fiction adventure stories from like the early 1900s. Yes. Everyone's fucking stealing from everyone.
When are you gonna get to the like? This is how the industry, how any entertainment industry is going. There are many there's very few times you can steal from someone else. Is when no one wants your idea.
That's why my business never took off. Sending people kitchen magnets with pigeons. Turns out it doesn't work because they can see electromagnetism and they go a bit weird when you try and give them a magnet. So they don't know how to take it to an address. It's a big problem in my industry.
I look at you like you know too much about this.
We've been trying to figure out how to transport these magnets. And you're like, well, we could use cars. Then you're like, that'll be too easy. You know, we fiddled around with the idea of using elk, but you have to like get them from America, so it's a big fucking, difficult to get them back over as well. They don't swim very well.
Import costs are atrocious.
Yeah, we tried trout, but trout tend to stick to only their area, and they don't really want to go into like another ocean. So it's like a it's a cultural thing.
So pigeons. But then pigeons see electromagnetism, so it doesn't work. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Just use cars.
The problem with cars.
How about the handicapped? They've got wheels.
Not all of them.
Okay, fine. Booming industry. I mean, some of them don't even need wheels. They just, exist on Twitter.
Yeah. So do I.
Have you ever thought about making it into a career, Justin? Transporting magnets.
Well, I can't run that fast. And as you know, magnets run out of magnetism. You got to get them there before the magnets run out of charge. I might be thinking of phones.
No comment.
I do traditional style communication. You give me a message, I run to the next person, and then I give them the message. I see what I can remember from what you said. So it's like broken telephone. And then eventually we have a conversation.
What if I give you a handwritten letter? Where you just rewrite the letter?
But then you're going to fuck up my entire...
What if I give you a text? Wait, what if I cut you out? What if I just directly message them?
You see, you're cutting into my profit margins. Anyway, we should probably continue with E3. So yes, Stalker 2, I'm excited about Stalker 2 because, you know, the first 2 Stalker games were games that I played and I loved them and I also hated them. Because I was just like, these games are absolutely miserable. And they're a mess to play because they're broken. And then I was like, oh, I loved it. And I literally complained about... I would only complain about those games. That's all I did. I just complained.
But you played it.
But I was just like, you know what? I'm enjoying it. Something in me hates myself. And then the third one I really enjoyed. So hopefully they've managed to, you know, be more like the third. Because I played the third one twice, and I'd always told myself I enjoyed playing Stalker. I will never play it again.
And you played the second one.
No, I mean, I'll never replay it.
Oh yeah.
You know, like when you want to replay a game, I'm like, I will never replay it, and I'm still like that. I'm like, I will never replay it, but I'll replay the third one.
You've been through the struggle.
I've done it, so now I'm done. It's like when those movies where you only watch it once. Good movie, never watch it again. Like The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. You watched it once, you never watch it again.
Yes, because it's depressing.
It's also fucking long. It's like 2.5 hours.
Hey, length has never stopped someone. I mean, most of the most popular rewatches and runs and marathons.
But say you want to rewatch Lord of the Rings. Yeah, it's 3 hours long, but it's also a good 3 hours. Benjamin Button. You sort of sit there and you're like, could be 2.5 an hour.
There's only so much a fetus can do in the last few minutes. In the last few hours of the movie.
But yeah, movies like that. Also like Breakfast Club. I don't know. Breakfast Club to me is a one-watch movie. I don't know why I'd ever want to watch it again. If you've seen Breakfast Club.
Yes.
Yeah, movies like... Also, weirdly, The Goonies. That, to me, was only a one-watch movie.
I watched it when I was young, so...
Yeah. I watched it when I was a teenager. Anyway.
Yeah, young.
Yeah. So, you have more to say. So I thought, well, seeing as you want to start off with Mario, so you should start off with Nintendo.
Okay, Nintendo.
Now, Nintendo's a company from Japan.
They have their own gaming platform. They have their own games.
Yes.
They also contract third parties to make games for them. Yes. As well as they have a large respect for content on the internet. They are the most generous game company to ever exist.
They have never pulled down a fan game. They have never tried to pull down a YouTuber's channel. They've never tried to stop people from streaming on Twitch.
Exactly. They're
great.
They've never compromised their own hype campaigns.
No. They've also never had the thing where your Japanese branch and your American branch both tell streamers that one says you can stream and then the other one disagrees. That's never happened.
No, of course
not. Because they have airtight communication between their American and
Glass
Japanese branch. Yeah, they're amazing. They're amazing. And they're very original.
They shit gold and pea silver.
They do. And their every game is a brand new idea.
Speaking about new ideas, as you know from E3, Nintendo is releasing 2 Mario games and a Wario game. Sometime.
And Wario is Mario.
Yes.
Backwards.
Yes.
Upside down.
Upside down.
Upside down. Not
yes.
Backwards.
Exactly.
That's something else. That's an E. And there could be 3 of them.
But yes, so let's talk about the first one. Well, the first one, but it's actually a sequel, which is Mario Rabbids 2.
Yeah.
It looks like a Mario game.
I had no idea.
Well, the trailer looks like a Mario trailer.
Yeah.
It features rabbits, and get this, guys, rabbits and Mario. Wow. Those of you that don't know, this is actually a collaboration between Nintendo and Ubisoft.
Yes.
So that's where Rabbids comes from. It's from Ubisoft. Fun things come from Ubisoft.
And also, it's Rabbids, not rabbits.
Sorry, my accent.
It's very easy to see it wrong. So they look like rabbits, but they're Rabbids. which is a difference.
Yes, completely different. And so, yeah. The one thing I will note is that there is another. I did mention that there was another Mario, and that's another Mario Party. And for those of you who like Mario Party, there's a new one coming out. And
of course there is.
you can play it, and it's got like a lot of mini games.
Yeah.
Featuring Mario and other Mario-related characters.
Yeah.
And what really strikes me is that Nintendo's consistency. Those guys are so. Oh yeah, I forgot about Wario, but Wario is cool.
Wario exists.
Yeah, it exists.
It exists.
There was yes. So Nintendo are super consistent.
Yes.
Like with these two, with Rabbids 2 and Party, and the new Party one coming out. They're so consistent that these guys they put time and effort into this. And I swear people have been fooled, but it's not. Right? They're so determined to make everything consistent in Mario that the models and textures that they use in Rabbids almost looks like the same Mario models as what they're using in this new Party. I mean, like how consistent is that? Like these guys took the time and effort to recreate the exact same everything, and then just reformat it into a different game. It's mind blowing.
And what's amazing is that they clearly didn't copy paste it between. It was obviously remade.
No, this is remade.
Yeah,
because it's a different game. You see, what you don't understand is that Nintendo makes games.
Yes,
they're not EA that copy and pastes money makers.
Yes,
they make proper games for proper people that support and love them.
Also, all these other companies, these horrible companies, Ubisoft, EA, pumping out a game a year with annualized releases.
The fuck? They don't care about their fans.
They don't. And Nintendo, who does at least 3 to 12 games of the same character a year, you can tell they care.
No, they care.
They do one a month.
They want you to be satisfied.
They do.
Every time. And it has nothing to do... Money is not an issue for them.
Yeah.
They want to do it for you. They want you to have a new game to play.
It isn't like they're not interested in attracting new fans. Because it isn't like they have an audience that's been around since the 80s who has never grown up and who is not willing to try new games. And so it's not like, they're just selling nostalgia.
No, of course.
Year after year. They're not selling nostalgia. They're
clearly... Nostalgia only counts if it's using the same stuff. But they're not.
No,
These
they're
are
not.
New ideas, new games coming out, new characters,
what you don't understand, Tristan, is that in the old Mario Party, right? It would be like... It's like a game that's like a board game, like a mini game board game, right? And what you don't understand is that the new one, all right, it has different colors on the board.
And it has mini games for each piece.
Yes, it does. Which is unlike the old one, which had mini games for each piece.
Yeah, so like it's not like they've come up with this it's idea from someone else. No. I'll tell you what. If anything, Nintendo has all the right to sue because Monopoly is stealing from them.
No, it is.
I mean, have you seen Monopoly? The audacity.
Yeah.
Of them stealing that idea.
Yeah. Well, no, Monopoly is like bullshit because you get like Walking Dead and Game of Thrones themed ones where they just change the names. The board stays exactly the same. Nintendo does not. They have
standards.
They have standards.
Yes,
they have standards.
They don't go to that level of reskin.
No, they would never do that. They do not keep the exact same 2D game that they then just give a new name over and over again with increasingly complex names. It isn't like they fizzled out with Super Mario Brothers because now you get New Super Mario Brothers Plus 873 Part 2.
Yes,
that doesn't exist.
Yes, but it's not the same game because first of all, it's 3D, right?
Yeah,
and
it has a different number on the end.
The thing is, we like to think that it's the same Mario. It's not. It just happens to be that there's a protagonist in this universe.
Yes,
that's very similar, but not the same. That also happens to be Mario.
Yeah.
Italian stereotype plumber.
Yes, and and it isn't like
From Japan.
yeah.
No, he's not from Japan.
No.
He's actually
No, he's from Brooklyn.
Yes, that's right.
Brooklyn Rage.
So yeah,
Yeah.
Nintendo doing a great time there. They also showed us that they're doing I forgot the name. The Advanced Tactics.
Advanced Tactics.
Is
Yeah.
it
Advanced Wars.
Yeah. Yes. Advanced Wars.
Advanced Wars.
It's a reboot.
Yes, it's a reboot.
Or a here pay out to your nostalgia, but it's not that actually.
No, it's not nostalgia. Tristan, come. It's not nostalgia. It's
Oh.
Nintendo. They don't do nostalgia.
The problem is that Nintendo figured out something. It's not nostalgia, right? I apologize. Nintendo was the first company to figure out something that all game companies are going to miss. They're going to lose out on this because they're not smart, right? Their games might be too old for the generations that are now in that gaming space.
Yes.
So why aren't most companies doing this? Why aren't they creating their old content for new people so that they can do the transition instead of having the people go back and play it? Because we don't have Windows. Actually, we don't have. Well, if you have a 64, we all know you're a god. Let's just praise be to you. So, not everybody was fortunate enough, and Nintendo understands this. But Nintendo also knows that it needs to move forward. So instead of making more consoles for us to play the games that they released before, they're just going to bring it to us on their new platform, and it makes complete sense.
Exactly.
No other company has thought of this.
No.
Because the closest that's come, in fact, has been EA. But the problem with EA is that they release the same game every year.
They do.
I mean, it's like it's the same.
Yeah, and they'll just have, if it's say their sports games, it just has a different number on the end.
Yeah, I mean, like that's so unoriginal.
And then, which Nintendo would never do.
No, of course they change everything.
No, they also put different words at the end.
Does EA have their own console?
No.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
We should all bow down to Nintendo.
Yes, of course.
Because they are an amazing company.
Yes, and that's it. Let's praise be to Nintendo. Obviously, as you know, there's a new Legend of Zelda.
Yes.
Featuring Link.
Featuring Link, which, as you know, none of the other ones have ever featured Link.
No,
before.
of course not.
No.
And Zelda.
And Zelda's also there.
Yes.
Yeah. Which also, she's never been in any Legend of Zelda game.
No, of course not.
And it'll have, I'm assuming, rupees, which are a new thing. There's never been rupees inside clay, jars that you smash.
Oh,
this is a new thing.
So you can discover it.
Yeah. It's all new.
Oh.
Everything is new.
You know what struck me, right? They're also like Japan super kind, Nintendo super kind, because you would think that most games come up with either they have money as in dollars because of the West, or they have their own currency, like Fallout with bottle caps, Metro with bullets. Well, what else is there that I think of? Credits. Credits is a big one for all sci-fis. Yeah. It's all credits.
Credits always. You love credits.
I mean, like, thing is, Cyberpunk has the eddies.
Yeah.
And it struck me like Nintendo was like, why the fuck are people making up their own currency?
Yeah.
I mean, why don't we just use Indian currency?
Yeah.
I mean, like it exists.
Yes.
And the reason why we use them is because they invented the number 0. So
also, of course, we're going to call it rupees, but they're not actually going to be rupees.
No, they're
just going to be crystals.
Yeah, but the thing is, why wait? Well, like metal's heavy to carry around.
Yeah.
So
as you know, the better thing to do is to carry around clunky crystals.
And it's nice to look at.
It's very nice to look at. It makes it look. When you pour out, you go to the shop and you just pour out a bag full of crystals. It looks.
And we all know that it's clearly it's what Link is doing is he's not destroying pottery. He's trying to save the environment because he's trying to let the major corporations that are polluting the environment know that because you're putting all this harmful chemicals into our water, into our air, because you're making all these pots. Enough is enough. These pots are bad for you.
Yes.
So he's going around and he's making sure that the companies know to stop harming the environment, and he wants to show you the beautiful environment as he goes around beating up the local fauna.
Yes.
So he wants to not only show you, like, he took Steve Irwin and was like, yeah, but all he did was be nice to them. I'm going to do something different and still show how geopolitically correct I can be.
Yeah.
And then also, not to mention, I mean, when it comes down to the chests, I mean, the people that put stuff in chests are people that's never going to use it.
Yeah.
What Link is doing, he is basically showing that old things can still be used.
Yes.
And that even if
It's
the
all
owner
about recycling.
doesn't want to use it,
Yeah.
he will use it, and exactly he will recycle these things.
No, you see, because Link is a good man.
Yes.
Boy, it depends on.
He's a good imp.
He's a good imp. He's a good imp, and he has a great time, and he never reuses the exact same sword with the same name in every single game.
No. You're missing this. You're missing this. They're completely different swords. They just happen to have a similar origin. Very
true. Same with like the grapple hook, the arrows, the other things. They're completely sort of, what you don't understand is that yes, they're in every single game. Like, yeah, obviously, but what you don't understand.
So is the exit button.
So is the exit button.
And you're not complaining about that.
You see, you don't even get it because you can't, because you're not a Nintendo fan. You don't get it. Okay, you're sitting on the outside, getting like new, with everything is different. Like every single entry has like different characters and stuff. We understand what it's actually like. See, because
you're familiar.
And Nintendo's like the Bible; it never changes, unless you were alive 1,000 years ago. But it never changes; stays the same characters, and then people just reinterpret those characters every single Sunday.
Yes.
Would you call the Bible repetitious? No, you wouldn't. So you would not say the same of Nintendo.
I mean, praise be to Nintendo.
Exactly. And they make just as much as a church.
Yes, so, oh yes, we're missing one other very important Nintendo release. Justin, this is more your area of expertise.
Yes, I'm sure it is. Which thing? No, I can't remember.
Well, we covered the Advance War.
Yes.
Let's do Metroid.
Of course, Metroid. Okay, so now I Metroidvania games are my, like, I don't know. They're a genre that I just love, and I just seem to like every single one of them.
They're bread and butter.
I fucking love them.
You're lube to whatever activity you want to use it
yes, they're the lube to my dildo.
Exactly.
They are the food to my pet play kink. They are everything. So, by pure chance, I've never actually played a Metroid game. I've played Castlevania games.
You weren't compatible with
I was not compatible. I did not understand. I was not a convert to the Church of Nintendo. I did try playing one on an emulator, but it didn't run very well. And then I played something else. And then I played Pokemon. And then I tried to play another Pokemon. And I realized that they're the same.
No,
they're not the same.
They're different people. The towns look completely different.
Yes. No, the one has Professor Oak and the other one has like Professor Birch.
Yes.
And there'll be like a Professor Pine.
Look, don't discriminate. There are a lot of single mothers that need to move with their child to a new town.
Yes, exactly. Okay?
This happens all the time. Yeah. We see it. You know?
And a lot of them have to be in the back of the truck while it's moving.
Well, what do you expect? To put the child in the front?
No.
That's dangerous. There's no seatbelts in the front.
No, I know. It's ridiculous.
You could at least tie the child down at the back.
And also, just the idea of 3 starting Pokemon that are the exact same types.
The Holy Trinity.
It's the Holy Trinity.
Exactly.
That's what you don't understand, you see.
Things are best in 3s.
Yes.
Triangles.
Exactly. It's in the name of the grass, the fire, and the water.
Praise be.
Praise be. Professor Oak, the original.
No, we refer to them as priests outside.
Sorry, Priest Oak.
No.
Was it Priest Professor Oak?
Well, the thing is, we call them priests in our crazy world of different things.
Yeah.
But in Nintendo, they're called professors.
Okay, very true.
And just remember, a professor can only be a tree if he's male, and can only be a bush if he's female.
That is true. That is true. Because sometimes they do have a female professor.
Yeah.
And then they also have a foliage.
A rustic name.
A rustic name. This is not a laughing matter. Nintendo is the greatest, most original.
I'm just out of breath.
Yeah, he's out of breath because he's.
I'm in awe.
The power of grass, fire, water. It's too much. You know what? Grass, it's the earth, right? Fire is like, it's the Holy Spirit that's within us. It burns brightly within us. And water is the thing of life, and also Jesus' blood. So, and also water, it can become wine. So that there should be a wine Pokemon.
Yes.
He just gets pissed all the time and falls over and disappoints his family.
Are you leaving something with this?
No.
Because Nintendo would never ever put that in their game.
No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't, because they're wholesome. They're very wholesome.
They're very wholesome. They've got I want to say 5 new updates that we're interested in, which is obviously Mario Rabbids 2 and Mario Party, whatever, Wario, Legend of Zelda,
and Metroid. Yeah. So, very exciting. Oh, you've never heard of any of these properties before, either. They haven't been around since the
These are completely new IPs.
Yeah.
They never do anything.
Yeah, they haven't been around since the late 80s. Anyway.
I like to call them the laties.
The late. Should we move on from Nintendo?
and then the lineties.
The lineties, which was another time.
The next thing on my little list here that I'm going to go through.
What is your little list? Because then I'll see what.
I'm going to talk about Metal Slug first. Or second.
I don't know who actually did Metal Slug. I think it might have been. I have a weird feeling that it was Square Enix, but I do not know.
But I'm not too worried about who did Metal Slug. I'm more worried about what they've done with Metal Slug.
Please.
Because
tell your story.
I'm an avid Metal Slug fan. I got into it back in the ye old arcade days.
Oh God, to me, I remember always going on holiday, and there was this one place that had an arcade by the pool, and then they had Metal Slug. Oh, it was so good.
Was it perhaps Nicer? Because there's warm pools, and then right next to it is an arcade.
No, it was Paul.
Oh, it was Paul.
Yeah.
Wow, dude.
Yeah.
There's always that place, and then I got it on my PS2.
Yes.
I got 3 on my PS2, and I've been a fan. I mean, recently, I went onto a bit of a GOG binge, and I went through all the Metal Slugs available on GOG, and I had a blast.
Because they're fucking amazing.
I love them. Like, yeah, okay. I mean, it's the same game, just continue. But there's something about that feel, the animation, the progressive, the energy, the music, everything is
also,
just...
I just the only game like I can really think of that captured a similar feel was Broforce.
Yes, but still not the Metal Slug feel.
No, but it did have its own, because some of the Indestructible environments had its own feel. But
it was Broforce for me was very blocky in comparison to the art style is amazing in Metal Slug.
I do think
a lot of effort.
I think the only like Metal Slug type game that I actually like more than Metal Slug is Alien Hominid.
Yeah.
Which also the animation, the whole everything. Oh, so good.
But
it's so good.
Look, the artists put a fuck ton of effort into it. The visuals, even to this day, I wouldn't consider it. If someone released a game with those visuals today in a platformer, it could be something along the lines of Replaced.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that insane.
Yes.
But
it's still...
It's...
Yeah. But this is also why I think it's a good idea to go stylized.
Yes.
Because when you go for realistic graphics, it ages.
It ages badly.
It ages. Look at the original Deus Ex.
It ages badly, and
it was bad for its time.
It's really something else. And then they come out after all this time of Metal Slug. I thought it's past the arcade era. Given a chance, if they ever had to release one, I'd probably buy it immediately and play it. And then you get to my second thing is, at the same time, the consoles were blowing up all these tactical games. Obviously, starting with Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yeah.
And then, you got the Fallout Tactics, you got Tactics, and then obviously this Advanced Warfare Tactics. All of those games.
And then,
great.
And then eventually, XCOM Enemy Unknown comes out and blows them all out the water. But yeah.
And then I'm busy playing, replaying Divinity 2. Original Sin. Oh, Divinity Original Sin 2, just to get it straight. And I'm loving it. So I'm a big fan of tactics as well. Now, when you take one of my childhood fantasies, like all I wanted to do was be in an arcade. and play Metal Slug. If I got an opportunity to go to the arcade, I remember our restaurants used to have arcades inside them.
Oh God, yes.
And we used to go, and there used to be Metal Slug. And I used to spend all my time there, fuck eating. I always told my family, if you're taking me to Spur, you have to order it so I can go. Because I'm going to play, and when you're done talking and doing all your nonsense, take me home, and then I'll eat my food at home.
Also, the one thing I remember from Spur, this is not really because this is not coming out, but Bubble Bubble.
Yes!
Bubble Bubble. God, I played so much Bubble Bubble.
It's amazing. So when you think of taking Metal Slug and taking Tactics, and I get upset. Because I'm getting upset because I'm probably going to play it. I'm probably going to enjoy it. But I still want... But I'm getting teased.
That you want an actual
Metal Slug. It's everything about it is 100%. They probably took the same sprites out of Metal Slug and just plucked it in there. But... For me, it's like, I'm going to enjoy it, but it's a bittersweet because I'm going to remember that I want another Metal Slug.
It's kind of like how that new, turned out, right, this new, the Final Fantasy Origin thing, where it's made by Team Ninja, and they have done, they're actually kind of the king of this. They're like given a property that people want more of, and then they do a spin-off of it, and you're like, I mean, it's a great game, but I want more of the actual
thing. Exactly.
Like they did that with Metal Gear. They made Metal Gear Solid Revengeance, which first off, not a word, but but like great game. But people were like, "Oh, it's a great game." But we want another actual Metal Gear Solid game. It's not a Metal, it's a fighting game. It's a fighting game. We want the Metal Gear Solid
proper game,
the actual one.
Yeah.
So. It's that kind of vibe. They'll rather do a spin-off than you go, but I want things.
Yeah, exactly.
And actually, it's the reverse of what happened with XCOM. I don't know if you remember this, but they were going to make a first-person shooter XCOM game. And then people were like, what the fuck, where's real XCOM? And that game quietly went away. And then Enemy Unknown came out to critical acclaim. And it was amazing.
Because they listened.
Yes, but like that's the thing, People, they'll just be like, oh, people love this Fallout thing. They love this Fallout thing. Let's release Fallout Tactics, which was a real game, and it's shit. Because it's crap. They decided, you know what we should do? We should make a game that's only the Fallout combat. The worst part of Fallout 1 and 2. God, so it's the same vibes.
Yeah, so like... I'm looking forward to it. I'm a little bit sour about it, but
it does still have the same art style.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like it's going to be a hard one for me to swallow, but I'm going to play it.
I'm sure you'll enjoy it, but then immediately you'll probably go like, I love this.
But it's not what I wanted.
I want more Metal Slug. More actual.
I would love them to bring it into today's graphics when it comes to platformers. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Also, by the way, when I was younger, I always got confused in my head in the names between Metal Slug and Metal Gear.
Never.
Well, to me. But it was just like, Metal Slug. Yeah, that's the shooting one. Because I don't think I'd ever played Metal Gear Solid, but it's a famous one, so I'd always heard the name. Mm-hmm. And then Metal Slug I played a lot, and then I was like, yes, Metal Slug. Yes. Like Metal Slug. It's weird.
The metal, like, the name, right? A Metal Gear. Yeah. And then, like, I just like a Metal Slug. And obviously we know it's a bullet.
Yes, it means a bullet.
Yeah, but like, it's such a nice name to say, Metal Slug.
Yes.
It's a very nice name
also, when I was very young, I didn't know that a slug was a bullet. So I never understood why it was called Metal Slug.
But there's a whole lot of firing and everything.
Yes, firing, but I was like, what does this have to do with slugs?
I'm like, I have echoes of the pistol firing sound in my head.
Yes, I know exactly
the sound. You know exactly the sound it makes. You know exactly the sound you make when you die.
I also know exactly the sound of when you release the prisoners and they run back and forth a bit and they make that like noise. It's...
Or the most iconic noise. Continue.
Yes. I remember everything from those games. The great thing is that now, because of the sort of modern age, you can make them like they were without the bullshit credit system where they were like, oh, you died, put in extra money.
Yeah, but the thing is, on the Metal Slug games, how they did that was to just hit a button again.
Yeah, exactly. So it was a nice but that's the thing, you can now just make a good one without trying to steal people's money.
It was the thing is I really love Metal Slug. I still love Metal Slug. I mean, I'm glad that in the trailer they kept that same when they announced the name of the, and it's just like it is that's nostalgia for me. But it's also I'm looking forward to it. But I really didn't want a tactics game.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to it. It seems like a very tactics orientated run for Nintendo and those kind of platformers.
Yeah.
Also a lot of vampires this season, but I'll get to that later. You already brought up Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
But you know,
I mean, they can do their thing.
I've already said like Final Fantasy is, for me personally, I think that the games deserve a different name than Final Fantasy. We know know Square Enix. We know it's going to be inside the Final Fantasy universe. You know what it is. Give it a different name.
The thing is, because every Final Fantasy is a different universe. Like they each take place in a different world with new characters.
A different game.
To be fair, it's the same with say GTA. Every GTA is in a different. I mean, okay, it takes place in the real world.
But there's a formula for GTA. What you expect out of Rockstar.
Well, in the old days, I mean, the first 9 Final Fantasy games are kind of the same formula.
I mean, I can't when you go 1, 2, and 3, I can't really tell the difference.
No. But okay, 1, 2, 3, they're the exact same game. But then say 4 to 9, and then I think 10 was when it got into the more. It kind of started becoming more about spectacle than about anything else that was going on. And then people go on a lot about 13 being absolute garbage. And also, I remember 13 a lot because of all the discourse about it. Because lots of reviewers were like, it's shit. And then gamers were like, how dare you? If you had just played through the first 20 hours, it would get good. But no, you have to criticize it. And you're sort of like, no, it fucking deserves to be criticized.
Don't give me 20 hours of gameplay before it gets good. No, that's it. We've established for gamers it takes 20 hours for Stockholm Syndrome to begin.
Exactly.
So
I'm going to enjoy this. I paid for it.
I'm going to enjoy it.
This is what's great about Steam though. Steam sales. You buy it for $10. And then you go, cool, it wasn't for me.
Refund.
Just there we go. Cool.
No, refund it.
I don't care. But even when you get it for so cheap, you don't even care about that. Yeah. Because you're like, I got it for 90% off. I got it for $4. And you're like, cool. I played it, didn't like it. Whatever, it goes into my don't play.
Yeah, I've got I don't play category.
You just do it, you go,
So I'm great thing Final Fantasy going, but please just give it a different name. Stop holding on. I understand the brand sells.
Yeah, it's similar like say Call of Duty.
Yeah, the
it's a brand.
Sells. But it's I'm not even gonna compare Final Fantasy to EA's games because they are different.
Yeah.
They're in a different universe.
Yeah. I think that's the thing. Final Fantasy, everyone is. They don't release annually. They're not annual games.
It's the game version of Fate, without the repetition of characters.
Yeah.
Or Fast and Furious, without the repetition of characters.
Yeah. Although Fast and Furious, I was fucking shocked because I don't pay attention to new movies. So when I saw it, because also each one they're not called Fast and Furious. They'll be called Furious 7, Fast 8, whatever. And it says it's on the 9th one. I was like, what? I saw the 3rd one. I don't even know what the others are about. I like the 3rd one because it was Tokyo Drift, and I actually liked it. It's shit, but I like it. It's a shit movie, but it's entertaining. But that's all I know. I was shocked that there were so many of them.
I'll speak to you after this about it because it's a bit of a personal opinion on Fast and Furious. But moving on,
yes,
Final Fantasy. I'm glad that you guys are getting a new game. I hope you like your spin-off.
Although,
if you don't,
to be fair, Final Fantasy 15 didn't come out that long ago.
Well, the thing is, if they don't like the spin-off, there's a whole lot they can fall back on.
Yeah,
in the same people. The next two I'm going to complain about. The last two on my list actually is the Anacrusis.
Yeah.
Made by the same people that Valve got to make Left 4 Dead.
Yes.
Right. Before this, I showed him a little bit of the trailer, and let's talk about this. It's a 4-person co-op, swarm co-op. survival thing.
It's Left 4 Dead.
And it looks worse than Left 4 Dead.
It does. It does.
The animation of the things, whatever they were, the anoretic predators running at you, slapping you.
The thing is, I don't know if you remember Evolve.
Yes.
They also made Evolve. Which is also 4-person co-op, but there was also the monster. So it's like 4-person co-op versus 1. Yeah. 4 versus 1. Which I mean, I think it's quite interesting. It didn't work. But I mean, it's an interesting idea.
Everybody wants to play the monster.
Yeah, exactly. But, 4-player thing seems to be their vibe.
But the thing is, what hurts me about this is that, first of all, when I first saw it, I was like, Atari's making a game, but then it turns out they're slightly different from Atari, the logo for this game. And then another thing to look at is it doesn't look very far along in development. But what's my problem is the reason why I feel like that is because I have played Left 4 Dead, but I've also been experienced World War Z. And now I have a new understanding of what I want from a swarm-based game. Yeah. Survival game with 4-player co-op, all of it. World War Z has educated me to find out what I really want from it. And it kind of feels like developers were like, shit, we haven't released anything in a very long time. They grabbed the first box, they brushed the dust off, they're like, okay, well, let's just take out all the visuals, keep the same mechanics, and then pluck on different visuals.
It kind of looks like a game by a relatively indie studio.
It reminds me if Team Fortress and Left 4 Dead had a child.
Yeah, but less competently.
I mean, it's no comment.
I just thought it looked.
It didn't look wow.
No,
I didn't understand why they chose the visuals. Maybe that's all the gameplay they had. The things move slowly, very unintimidating. They did a slap thing. I mean, okay, well done.
Yeah, I was also very
I mean, aren't we done? Aren't we done with the 4-person co-op survival thing? Because my excuse that I don't pick on World War Z is because they did it better. They're kind of like, here's a video game that's better than Left 4 Dead, and you all talk about Left 4 Dead. I understand that. That was just we just want to show that there was a better way to do it.
Yeah.
But now the same people that made Left 4 Dead are now making this, and it's like you're just trying to prove that you're just brushing off some dust on the old system. You're slapping stuff in. I'm not impressed by it, and I'm not impressed with this whole 4-player co-op thing still going. I understand some games need them. It's still popular, but we've had a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, in the recent from Left 4 Dead to now, we've had a lot of 4-player survival co-op.
Yeah.
We've had a lot. I mean, the last good one, besides World War Z that I've played, the last good one, shit. Borderlands 2 was alright. I think I actually have to
Although Borderlands to me has a different vibe because it's also sort of an RPG, so you are building up your characters individually.
It's the other Gearbox game, but I'm not going to mention it because there's too much hate on it. Anyway,
what is the other Gearbox? Oh, okay, cool.
Anyway,
never mind. I don't remember. Okay.
So the only good, socially acceptable good that I played is Borderlands 2.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot. There's been so much. And then you get a studio that, first of all, gave me a game that I absolutely fucking loved, gave me DLC that I loved, gave me amazing sequel. And then I still went to a workshop down by the castle in Cape Town where we video called the woman who was the person who was responsible for the general feel of the environment and how she described the environment and how she came up and her thought process. So I felt really connected to it. And then when I played the games again after that, because I was like, oh my god, I have to see it from her point. And I realized it, we were smelling things from that game that we obviously weren't smelling, and this is Dishonored.
Yeah,
Dishonored. When you go and you see that the ocean, you see the whale, you smell ocean, you smell dead carcass probably coming from that. I mean, if it's just me, fine. But this was the first game where I could imagine how the environment actually smelt.
That world is amazing. The way I always have certain gripes with the way the story was done, because I think that the moral system is very poor.
Yeah,
it's very black and white. It's either if you kill people, she becomes, what's her name? The girl. From the Sonnet, the Empress's daughter, whose name I forget now. She becomes like some kind of like an evil tyrant dictator, or if you go the good route, then she becomes like a good guy. And I'm like, she's either Hitler or she's Gandhi. It's sort of
well, in retrospect, I mean, Gandhi is not so innocent himself.
True. So maybe it's
have you played?
Okay, it's either Hitler or it's Jesus.
But yeah, but the thing is, that's why I haven't mentioned the story. I'm just talking about the actual gameplay and the environment. You felt it when it was cold and dark. I felt cold and dark.
It's amazingly done,
and it was amazing. And then they released another game, which the only way I can express it was how to capture the same magic as Half-Life, but not have anything to do with Half-Life, which was Prey. I fucking loved playing Prey. I love the story. I don't read a lot in games. I read all the cause you can go up to the monitors and stuff and read the messages and stuff that's on there. I read all of that. I was fully involved. I love the idea for the enemy. I love the idea for the weaponry. It wasn't so much to harm, but more tactical weaponry. You weren't blazing through like Gordon just killing everything. You had to use your weapon smartly, like more Bioshock feel. You know, and I love Prey. And then E3 happens. And following on this massive trend of people releasing vampire games, there's the spin-off Masquerade 2.
Yeah, for some reason exists.
There's Rainbow Six Extraction.
Yeah.
It also has like a
it's also like
vampire,
a zombie vampire vibe.
So there's that. And then, what does my beloved Arcane do? They release a 4-player co-op survival set in a vampire apocalypse. That looks, and the graphics look like Fortnite.
They don't look good. Yeah.
So I'm just like
the thing, maybe because let's give them benefit of the doubt. They're also making Deathloop, which is their like single player thing,
and they're just trying to release something while we're waiting. Maybe they need to push it back. So
maybe also this maybe will make more money. So it's kind of, it reminds me about how Mila Jovovich, she's an actress.
I know,
Mila
Resident Evil.
So she's a Resident Evil actress. Now she was like, no, she does the Resident Evil movies because she makes a lot of money, and then she can spend the rest of her time making indie films that she cares about.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. You make some shit so that you can fund your art. So maybe that's what they're doing.
Maybe, but at the same time, I'm
benefit of the doubt.
Then rebrand. Don't use the Arcane. Don't use your name on it. Just release it.
Just release this as an anonymous thing.
I'm just like, you were one of the last bastions of single player gloriousness that I had, and now you're going with the 4-player co-op. Okay, because that hasn't been done before. You're now following the vampire zombie trend. That's never been done before.
I'm actually fascinated where the fuck this vampire zombie trend came from, because there was one years ago, but then it died, and now all of a sudden it's all back.
They tried to resurrect it with werewolves. I remember, and then that died, and then
this came out of kind of nowhere.
I think it's because a vampire.
Maybe Vampire the Masquerade. People are excited about that.
Caused it to come out. I mean, I remember our friend Brandon loved the game, so he was. If he's listening to this podcast, shout out to you, Brandon.
I don't shout out to you, Brandon.
So he loved the game. I remember he even gave me. It was back in the ye old days where giving someone a game was simple as just handing it over.
Oh, you know? Okay, you know what? I still remember that one E3, the E3 where Microsoft announced the Xbox One, and they were just like. They were like, no, it has to be online 24/7, otherwise it doesn't work. Games, where you put a disc in, it basically registers to your device. You can never resell it. No one can borrow it. And then Sony came out, and they did a thing where they said, we're going to do a live demonstration of how to borrow games on PlayStation 4. And it's just two guys standing there, just hand a game to the other guy. And you're just like, but because the way that Yahtzee, Zero Punctuation, he put it the best, and he said basically Microsoft came out with like a sword and started stabbing themselves over and over again, and then Sony came out and just said, we're not going to do that. like that.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm just upset. I mean, it's possibly the most generic thing. I mean, you're taking from the okay, people are gonna have a problem that I keep on repeating this, but like the Fortnite graphics, you're taking from the most popular tropes that we have, and I'm just upset that why can't they just. I understand you made a good point. Maybe it's to make money.
Yeah.
And my thing is fine. Just so long as I get another single player game, because this could, I wouldn't say ruin them, but it could tarnish a bit of faith I have.
It could. But like, hopefully it's fine. I mean, you do get, they do have 2 studios. That's also one of the things. Yes. They have an Austin studio and they have a, not Paris, it's somewhere else in France. But it's in France. There's a French one and there's an American thing. So maybe one studio is handling one thing and the other studio is handling. So it's also
I believe this is Austin that's doing.
Is Austin? Okay, I thought.
That's doing. Okay, I haven't said the name. Redfall is the name of it.
Yeah.
I mean, like.
I think.
Way to play on the whole vampires.
Yeah, because I think that Dishonored is the French side, and then the American side supports, and then I think that Prey was the American side with the French side supporting. So maybe this is now,
But I just don't. I'm not. First of all, I'm not in the mood for another 4-player co-op.
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm not in the mood for it. And people might be saying, "Well, that's just preference." And yes, but this is my opinion. So yeah.
Yeah, but also like to me, because like I'm not into multiplayer games. But if I was like, okay, cool. If I get into a multiplayer game, I would probably just have like one. You just play the one. That's like what you do. Because it's not, you're not playing it as a game, you're playing it as like you have people that you play with and what have you. Whereas single player games, you play it and you finish it and you move on to the next one.
No, that's you.
That's me. But like most people, well, I mean, single player games, you're not going to keep playing it forever. Unless you mod it, you fucking nerd.
Without mods, my father to this day still plays Skyrim. So
that's because he like walks everywhere. He told me he walks everywhere. He didn't discover that there's a run.
And then he walks back and he will take every item from every place, even if he has to steal it, and sell it. So yes.
Oh god. At least he's enjoying it. Yeah, it's fine. But there's pretty much only one last thing which I forgot about, and that's just that Psychonauts has a release date. Yes. Psychonauts 2, which is cool, and it's 25th of August. Not that far off.
No, I'm excited.
Also, I fucking love Psychonauts 1. It's an amazing game. Aside from the last... The very end, I wanted to shoot myself in the face because it's
brutal.
It's great. You're trying to like jump between those nets. It's the nets.
It's the nets.
It's the nets.
It's the nets.
And you see, this is also where you can tell where like this is a peeve between people. You like, it's the nets. It's the nets.
The nets are the worst. Are the fucking worst. And there's that one
because you jump and then you don't.
Because
you don't coordinate it right, so you fall off the edge.
There's that one gap where if only you have to jump from a certain point in the net.
Yeah.
In a certain time of its animation, in order to capture the other net's a hold on the other net. And to me, that was super frustrating because that's not at the start. That's when you've pretty much climbed the whole fucking thing.
Yeah. Also, the thing about
and you have to go to the cinematic, the intro cinematic every time.
But also the thing is, that's never like in any other part of the game.
No, it's
just at the end.
The game is amazing.
The entire game's amazing. They just fucked it up in the last, like, literally 5 minutes. It's like 5 minutes of gameplay that you just go, God!
And then you left with the horrible taste in your mouth for the rest of your life.
Although what I did discover is that, because when I first played, I played mouse and keyboard, and then I think I played it again. Yeah.
Because I played that on controller.
Okay, and then when I played it again, I played it with controller, and it played a lot better on the controller than mouse and keyboard. So, well, seeing as you said you also struggle like on a controller.
No. Keyboard is okay, but I almost get like motion sickness.
I understand.
If I'm not using a controller for those kind of games.
Yeah, I think mascot platformers don't go very well with that. Very well with controller.
Oh, with keyboard, fucking the worst.
Same with like Dark Souls.
I tried playing Alice Madness Returns with a keyboard. No.
Yeah. But to me, it's also kind of... Okay, that was actually one thing we wanted to say. Forza.
Yes.
We wanted to mention Forza.
Yes.
So Forza, there's a new Forza, because there's a new Forza like every year or two. I don't know. I don't pay attention to
They're
Forza.
consistent.
They're consistent. And as we were like saying before we started, the Forza games are pretty. But they've been pretty since like the PS3, Xbox 360 era. Yes, I'm sure they've gotten prettier. But they've always been pretty. But they keep on being like, oh, look how pretty.
Yeah, they've been the best looking fucking
they're
game.
They're gorgeous.
Every year. I mean,
I think that they're the prettiest game. But also because like, I don't know, you don't have to be doing as much. Because really, the thing that's pretty is the car.
Yes.
The car is gorgeous. Everything else you're going past so fast.
When now the environment, like the water, the dirt, like the way the dirt and the mud and the water all interact with the car, it's detail that people can really appreciate.
Yes.
Speaking about that, you're going really fast. You're not going to see it. I mean, one of their main flexes in the trailer is that they use photogrammetry.
Yeah.
Now, what photogrammetry, for you that don't know, is basically you take a whole lot of pictures, you put it in of something like a rock. You put those pictures into the system, and a computer analyzes it and creates a 3D model with the textures already on. Everything's done for you. You've just rendered this thing in 3D. Really cool if you want really good realism, but for a game like that, the visual effects add a little bit more. I mean, like the frame rate makes it look great and seeing everything move, but you actually have to slow down the cars and the environment so you can show off the environment.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's no point. You're going so fast. I mean, a lot of these old racing games that were meant for like speed racing, like the Need for Speeds, the environments was shit. And that wasn't just limitation. Look at the time when they came out.
Yeah.
It wasn't just limitation. Yes, the
car always looks good. Though.
The car always looks good. But that's what you're staring at. The back of the car has the most detail on the front. Because in the winning shots, you're in the front, and the back,
they make sure the cars look fucking gorgeous. But everything else...
The environment is like third rate.
Well, that's also why I still remember Need for Speed Most Wanted. They had live action cutscenes.
That was great.
I love them. Shit.
Need for Speed still has the best, for me, one of the best game trailers of all time. Have you seen it?
Which one?
The most famous Need for Speed game trailer.
Quite possible. Was it for Most Wanted?
No, well, I won't say it's for Most Wanted. I think it's an Underground.
Okay, it's possible.
No, it's Most Wanted.
But I can't. Yes, I'm pretty sure it would be Most Wanted. You know, that's literally the only one. Whenever you go, Need people go, oh, Most Wanted. Oh, it's so good.
I actually preferred the Underground to Most Wanted. I enjoyed Most Wanted. No.
I also enjoyed the Underground games. Underground and Most Wanted, but they both had some of the vibes.
For our generation, the best thing about Need for Speed is that it had that OST.
Oh, yes.
It captured what we were listening to in that time era.
It's great.
It's nostalgia big time.
It is. The Need for Speed, the entire soundtrack
is.
I can just sit and put it on and be like, oh yeah.
I mean, I had. Well, my wife has. She now has a flash drive in the car with the Most Wanted soundtrack on it.
Which one was it that had the song? Because one of them had the song, the I Got a Need for Speed. It's not Most Wanted. I think it's one of the Undergrounds.
Thing is, there are several. There are signature songs. When you look at Underground, what is the song that comes to your head?
Fuck, it's been a long, long time since.
When you think Underground,
I don't know Underground as well. I can answer this with Most Wanted.
My thing with Underground 1, the most iconic song, starts with dum dum dum.
Okay, yes, I know exactly the song. Yes.
You already know.
Yes.
That was the highlight.
That's
of
the first song, though, isn't it? That's
when you're cruising under the in like a garage or something.
Yeah.
And you slowly like a subway.
But that's also the song that plays in the menu when you open up. Yes.
And it plays when you go into the garage.
Yeah.
It's the first song.
I don't know what that song is called, but I know that song.
Everybody knows that song. I mean, then there's also the Little John.
I think I do know. By the way, you're not doing very bad because after you leave, I'm probably gonna go on YouTube.
so it's like this Little John one where it's to the window, to the wall, to the sweat drop down my balls.
To me though, with Most Wanted, it's not one of the main songs, but it's a song that literally whenever I think of Most Wanted, I think of this song because it's there. is Decadence by Disturbed.
It is there.
Yeah, and that song to me is like the Most Wanted song. I don't know why.
The number one most wanted song, I know what it is. It starts with rock.
Yes, I know the song.
Yeah.
I don't know
and
what
then
it's
for
called.
number 2, for Underground 2, sorry, that iconic song was obviously Snoop Dogg and the Doors.
Yes.
Riders of the Storm.
Yes.
So that, like, they always have this iconic, and then you got Carbon, which was like they were trying to bring Underground and Most Wanted into one.
Yeah, I never actually played
and
it.
it didn't execute very well. It was like they tried to do it. There's a mod for Carbon that basically makes it better than it could ever be. And
I know about this mod.
It enhances what Carbon should have been. And then after that, you got Hot Pursuit. And then I faded away.
I haven't paid attention really to it since Most Wanted. It's amazing because literally
everybody's
Underground 2 and Most Wanted, I love them.
Yes.
I've never cared about literally any other one.
Because after that, it's not so much about being the rebel that races. And it goes into like, I mean, like it all has the same purpose, but I feel like Pursuit and stuff is like very Fast and the Furious vibes.
Yeah.
And then like the thing that captured the reason why the first 2 Fast and Furious were like so big, and the reason why Undergrounds and Most Wanted so big was the cars.
Yeah.
It was the style. We weren't part of the law. We were obviously in Most Wanted. You're like a cop that goes under and then he gets into an accident.
Although, actually, one game that's really, really good, it's not any of these, but Driver San Francisco. I don't know if you ever played it.
Drivers can go... I tried Driver once, and you probably know what Driver I tried, and then I decided...
Yeah, okay, but Drivers are weird games, but Driver San Francisco is an amazing game, because in it has the weirdest fucking system. I can't remember what the story was, but it's about a guy who gets in, like, an accident, and he's in a coma, and he's imagining the city. And so you can basically do like hot swapping into any car on the road. So you'll be racing and then you can just go into another car and just keep driving. So you'll like crash and then you'll be like, okay, quickly into another car driving. It's a very interesting mechanic. And you can go anywhere in the city. Not in a race, but yeah, you can like pull out of a car as like a ghost and just pick a car anywhere. It's an interesting system. Also, if you pull up to the very, very top, you can hear the like heart rate monitor and stuff, which is the interesting little extra. Yeah. As a matter of fact, because you just go, little shithead. As a matter of fact, I remember that Yahtzee made it his number 1 game of the year when it came out, which is it's a driving game, which most of my shit. Really any like racing games are kind of like,
Well, the thing is, I like a good racing game, but I'm not like... The problem with me with racing games is that if your goal is to just make me drive in... basically, there's a difference between a racing game...
And a driving game.
And a commercial.
Yeah, okay. Well, also, there's like a big difference also between like an arcade racer and a simulation racer.
Yeah.
I do not care for simulation racers.
I do not care.
Ooh.
But people make bank off of them.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Especially with the peripherals.
Yes.
They make
I know.
bank.
Because when you see people who are like, no, I play those games, you're like, okay, you have a wheel. You have a wheel. You have maybe even have the pedal.
You have
everything
a chair.
You can get all of that
You
stuff.
have the 3 monitors.
Yes.
I mean, they've gotten so hectic that they're doing this arcade style thing where they've got 3 monitors, a suspension chair. So now they're suspended and they're moving with the car.
Yes.
And it's like, yes, great, I understand.
It's a similar dedication as I feel to Eve.
Or just to like Flight Simulator.
Yes, Flight Simulators as well.
Like I respect the dedication, and that's a niche that some people need to fill.
And I'm like, no.
It's not my niche, but I will never insult it because I feel like it has a place.
No, definitely. No,
because those kind of games have also spawned simulators which help people.
Yeah.
So I have a respect for those kind of games.
Yeah.
Forza, what it's doing now, it's set in Mexico, and it's going more of a GTA vibe. It's going more weird. Like the creation platform for GTA 5. And it's going to this like wacky, zany kind of you can just race or you can do something different, and it's like a nice take, but it's kind of like they realize that making another just regular driving simulator is not gonna fly.
It's actually quite, because when I saw the like trailer of it, because I've always just seen Forza and I'm like, it's just their racing games. They're just like they're kind of like a weird mix of sort of simulation and racing and arcade. but this one kind of gave me slight Burnout vibes.
Yes, and also I also thinking Burnout,
But without all the crashing.
I mean, that was Burnout's key signature.
Yes, exactly. That's also the one other racing game that I'm like, oh yes.
I don't know. I love Jack X.
Okay, Jack X is a combat racer though, so you can call it Jack X is amazing, other than the corrupting oil save, which
Shapey.
There's literally a way, because I remember this very, very, because I looked up how to not do that. There is actually a way to fix the Jack X corruption save thing. The reason it corrupts saves is because of the autosave. So what happens is,
if you turn the autosave off,
if you turn off the autosave, and basically you save before you finish, and you basically save before you leave, before you turn the game off.
Yeah.
So you play, you save, you fuck off. That's all fine. However, I learned this while at the time we were going through a bit of a bout of load shedding. Before it was called load shedding, it was just power outages.
Yeah.
It was power failures.
Yes.
Was the word. The correct word. So I remember always being like, I'd play and I would literally feel fear. Because I'd be like,
dread.
I'd be like, I'm only allowed to play for half an hour at a time. Because if I play for an hour, that means I have to replay an hour. So I played for like half an hour, I would save, and then I'd turn it off, and I'd be like, okay. Because the fucking power's going off.
But now you have the opportunity to bring it back.
Exactly.
So I suggest you get yourself up to Jack X and have another go. It's an amazing game.
I always
played light. The light vehicle. I always played the light vehicle.
I always played the light vehicle.
Fuck.
No, I've finished it like 3 times. I love that game.
It's fucking amazing. Yeah.
Also, the intro is amazing. If you remember the intro.
I don't remember the intro. I just remember the maps and driving around.
Okay, because actually, like,
the course.
Just to say to everyone, you should watch the intro, and also I'm going to force Tristan to watch it after this because it's too good. And when I rewatched it the other day, I decided to then go and find. I remember saying this to you like a couple of weeks ago. I watched it, and then I was like, oh, I need to watch like all the cutscenes from all the.
Oh yeah, so you went on your binge.
I haven't actually watched them all yet, but it's sitting on my watch list.
Speaking about great cinematics.
Yes.
Let's talk about the star, the jewel of E3 2021. The best thing that came out of it. Not so much the game.
Yeah, just
but
the trailer.
What the trailer stood for.
Yeah.
The Outer Worlds 2 teaser trailer. Phenomenal.
The thing is, I don't really think you should talk about it. I think you should just say go watch it. Because it's fun.
No, don't like
yeah, like you'd kind of ruin it if you go watch it.
And understand.
Just look up like Outer Worlds 2 reveal is a teaser trailer.
Yeah, reveal, teaser, whatever.
Teaser, reveal, whatever. You'll see it there.
And just appreciate it.
Yeah, because it's just fun.
It's just
fun.
It's
You're not really going to learn anything about the game.
Yeah.
It's a teaser. You never learn anything about the game. Some teasers are literally 10 seconds long, and it's like the logo. They did that for God of War Ragnarok, which is going to be the next one, when they announced it like 2 years ago. They literally just put a video for like 10 seconds, and it just like has the logo, and then the next video, and you're like, why not just have someone come on stage and just say, we're announcing God of War Ragnarok?
Well, because there's something. Once Keanu Reeves does it, no one else can do it just the same.
Also, every E3, I always remember the greatest E3 that ever happened. There's a single event. I just have to mention it because it's always great. Every E3, I must remember this. The reveal for, it's a game you like a lot, whose name I've now forgotten. The one where you can play as a samurai or what's like a samurai and English knight or a...
Oh, For Honor.
For Honor. I don't know if you ever watched the E3 for when that was announced.
No, but I watched that trailer when it first
No, it's not about the trailer, it's about the E3 reveal.
Mm-hmm.
Because the guy, who I think is the creative director, comes on stage, looks like a fucking Viking. He has a cane, and this guy comes out, and he's just like, "Are you ready?" It was the most amazing reveal. Everyone was talking about Viking guy.
But the thing is, play the game.
Yeah.
You will understand. I love the game.
I
fucking love it. And I started grinding him because I realized that I want to play with every hero.
Yeah.
I just don't want to because the thing is, unlike most hero-orientated multiplayer, like the hero shooters, one thing I don't like about Overwatch is the concept of only one person can play that hero for a match.
Because I've heard ones where it'll be like...
So one side, you can have the same character, the same hero on both sides, but for that team, only one person can be there.
Well, I have heard of ones where like they'll have a match where everyone is the one character.
Yeah, but that's
like
working events and stuff. And then you get Rainbow Six Siege that did the same thing. On the team, you can only be that one person. And I get it because it's more realism. Like, they also do it in Alien Swarm. Like, a lot of games have done this way. Like, Metal Slug even, you can only be that one person on screen. But what I like about For Honor is that I don't... They're called heroes. But I like to think of them as classes.
I think they kind of are
but
classes. They feel like classes.
The classes are different because you get the Heavy, the Hybrid, the Assassin, the Vanguard. I think those are the 4.
Originally, there were only 3, I think. Weren't there? Or was it always 4? Because I know they did introduce new heroes and stuff.
Yeah, but introducing new heroes. But I think every class has their standard. Every faction has their standard. Heavy. Everybody starts off with the Vanguard first.
Yeah.
Then you can choose to unlock either the Heavy, the Hybrid, or the Assassin. Mm-hmm. On the factions, and then they've just added in various heroes, more heroes. It doesn't even matter. It's not even consistent. I mean, the last 2 major ads were 2 knights that the Vikings and the Samurai have had one update, like proper update, but the knights have been getting a lot. And then they introduced the 4th faction, which is the Chinese, although you have to pay for them. So
yeah,
it's like when someone has Chinese, they're always like, I don't discriminate because I don't understand. You probably got it on a sale or you just bought it straight up.
Yeah,
I don't care because I'm at 108. I'm at like 100 ping, and everybody else at 30 ping, and I can still wreck you. And I'm not just being like, oh yeah, because I use the ping to my advantage. No, I play assassin, which has to be fast, and most of the time my attacks get countered. I just have learned how to deal with it, how to fight against it, and I don't come out on top, but I do win a few games. I'm happy with my standing. But I like the fact that everybody, like, you can have a whole team with like one hero. Everybody, so long as the person purchases it, and the thing is, you don't purchase it with money. You can. There is obviously a buy coins, but you use the in-game currency to buy the hero. And in my experience, every day, if I do a proper grind, I can make 1,500 in-game currency every day. And recently, I just bought one of the like real early on heroes, and that cost me about 8,000. Sorry. So I'm thinking like if I can do about 3 a week or 5K a week, then 2 weeks I can get my next hero. So but that's been through years of updates.
Yeah.
Because when I started, the grind was real. Yeah. Like I'm talking
although you enjoy the actual game.
When I started playing, I enjoyed it, but I thought I was not cut out for it because I thought it's way too intense. It's too like there's too many things you need to remember. You need to remember where your mouse is pointed to block, or then they started moving away from that, and they started making each hero play better with its type. Like the assassins, they can't always block. They get they do get a block, but if it's not instant, like if you don't move it as it's about to block, it fades away. Whereas other heroes, their block is harder. It stays there. Once it's blocked, that area is blocked. So the different things ways around it. So they've worked on better tactics to get them going. But yeah, definitely.
You know what? It's something I've always meant to play, but I just haven't gotten around to it.
I'm thinking I don't think many people like it. Like when I look at someone that plays games, I'm normally worried about who I suggest it to because I know it's not a game for everybody.
No, yeah.
It's definitely like if you like medieval combat, if you like fighting with swords and shields and any other kind of melee weaponry, and you like the martial arts of it, it's definitely a game you shouldn't. If you like playing Dark Souls for the fact of how you fight instead of the story or anything, or you enjoy playing if you're one of the very few people that enjoyed the combat system for Kingdom Come Deliverance, then this is the game, and you prefer a lot more intense action. It's a good game.
Sounds good. I don't think we really have anything else left anymore. I don't think E3's done.
I mean, E3 is done. That's cooling off. We're waiting. We're going to maybe do something on the Sony stage.
But yeah, now that E3's done, news should happen again. So probably have another acquisition tomorrow.
Hopefully.
Have an acquisition tomorrow.
Yeah. Like, after recording this, we're going to look on the news and we're going to find an acquisition that's gone
damn
down.
it, EA just acquired Nintendo.
There was the whole thing with Bethesda and obviously the release of their latest, the reveal of their latest thing that we knew what was happening. What's it called? Starfield.
Yeah.
So Starfield. The main thing I'm focusing on here is that obviously we didn't get a lot from the trailer. It was a cinematic trailer.
We just know it's coming.
Yeah, we just know it's coming. But what I want to focus on is the amount of apologizing both the spokesperson and obviously Tom Howard did on behalf of Starfield. Mainly concerning not Elder Scrolls or Fallout. They're mainly apologizing. So it's the ZeniMax spokesperson and then Tom Howard, who, if you don't know, is like
the game
creative
director.
Yeah. So so both people, their main focus was apologizing to the consumer, mainly. Well, apologizing to Sony
because it's taking so long. Oh,
they're apologizing to Sony players.
Okay.
And the
to
only
be like,
thing is
I'm so sorry, we're not going to bring it to you.
No, the more like, we know what it's like. Like the one guy, the spokesman was like, he is a Sony console player. He knows what it's like. Like, he knows that the games aren't going to come on console, but it just means that, it's a great opportunity to get into that. And if you can't, there's nothing we can do about it. We're sorry. But it started coming up like, are they sorry or are they trying to do the damage reduction?
Probably.
I mean, like, this is corporate tactics right here. Are they really sorry? Because the guy might be a PlayStation player, but is he really sorry because he's profiting off of it anyway?
That's a good question.
So there was a bit of that happening right after E3 about those guys speaking about how addressing the fact that from now on it's going to be Xbox exclusive. As we saw with E3, if you actually watched most of it, it was basically Xbox and Nintendo there to play.
A lot of people.
Well, Microsoft.
Oh shit! There's one thing that I have to mention. Devolver Digital.
Your wacky, your wacky studio.
They did another one because, of course, they're great, and you should watch it.
I feel like I'm going to be here long after this.
It's because it's actually not quite as wacky as it used to be because, but they're still great because they did this time because every single time they basically make fun of something in the industry, something that's big. So they decided with like this one, no, it's all about subscription services. So they're like, so what we're going to do is we're going to have like the Devolver Digital Plus subscription service. And, you can go and get the subscription service. And they set up a whole website and stuff. There's not a service. So they're just making up this whole thing. And actually when you go onto it, it immediately says, well done, you're a member. So everyone's a member if you go on the website.
I'm actually thinking like
they're.
Sorry, I'm thinking of something completely different. It's still game related, but like the internet has caused some industries to go backwards and other ones to go forwards. Like, for instance, movies, like movies and series, they used to come from either the TV, the public networks, or the networks that you paid for.
Yeah. And
movie places, rental places, that's where you used to get these things before, and obviously the cinema, but I'm not really considering that in this respect because we went from that to like so many different places, and then like that major subscriptions started coming in where like we have DSTV, but I know Americans have cable, where you get a whole bunch of subscription fees. We also had MultiChoice, which was our cable.
Yes, so it was just Mnet.
Yeah, Mnet and CakeNet.
Yes.
So there was that.
Like and Super Sports.
Yeah. So there was those, but the olden times they went, okay, there's so many different things, let's package it and sell it. And then DSTV was around a while, and then we realized, why are we paying so much for all the stuff that most of we don't watch? I want to watch when I want to watch, and we got that more personalized streaming, which then, blew up with Netflix, Hulu, Showmax, Amazon.
Yeah.
All of those guys blew up. and Disney Plus started coming on and everything. And so now that kind of like, it kind of was like an explosion. Things were too compressed, and then boom.
Yeah.
Now they're all going their own way,
Yes.
and our people are now bitching about, oh no, I only want to pay for one subscription service. So now they're trying to bring it back into one pay one. Then you get the game industry, which was, there was too many of one person making games. Then we blew up again, right? And now it's going back.
Now we're trying to consolidate, pretty much.
But now we're consolidating again, and it's the same kind of pattern. Yeah. And the thing is, the difference is, first of all, is how it's done. With TV and film and stuff like that, it's done by subscription. Everybody gets a piece of the prize, including the host.
Yeah.
Now it's with game industry. It's a lot. It's a lot more smarter, a lot more ethical. Not ethical, economic.
Yeah, not ethical.
No, I got the wrong word there. It's a lot more economic because it's not a guy going, hey guys, if you guys come, no, it's just Microsoft just buying everything.
Yeah.
And then saying, well, you know what? You're on the Xbox Game Pass now. You're now on the pass.
It's very clever.
It's like
it's mostly Microsoft.
It's like if DSTV bought the station instead of just allowed them a slot in there. Yeah. Or multi-choice, or your guys' cable in America, if they bought all the television studios instead of just, well, you guys can relate because you got Disney up there, don't you?
Yes.
So you guys kind of understand the situation that's happening now with everything. I mean, it's going to be. Here's the funny thing: is the console wars got so intense that now it's consuming game studios because this is just still the console wars. It's still the same battle.
Everyone's trying to win.
PC's chilled now because
PC doesn't. The thing about PC games is that PC games will never become console games.
No,
they won't. They'll just get a controller.
and it's not just that, like, they hate exclusives, but you can't do anything about it because they're exclusive.
That's the worst, because like it would be great if all the console exclusives were on PC. Just
PC doesn't bother with looking down on consoles because of the exclusives. They're like, yeah, but you guys still do it fine. PC gamers are in a completely world of their own. They just hate each other. So it's like I don't care, like. In people go, oh yeah, PC, and you're like, okay, so what kind? Are you a laptop?
Yeah.
Or you?
Although I think that happened with like laptop and desktop, but you don't really get people going, oh, you're Intel.
You do.
So, do you? I don't get that.
You get the Intel snobs, you get the AMD snobs. They're there.
It's not as pronounced as PlayStation versus Xbox.
No, thing is, because you've been outside the sphere.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah.
Go onto Reddit.
You see, that's a problem. Go on Reddit. Just
go onto Reddit, and your thing is, that is still are using AMD because AMD is better now. But the problem I have with AMD is that I don't want to say it, but I'm going to say it anyway. AMD is great. They've got the hertz. They've got the stats. Stat wise, they're great. I don't like the AMD Radeon's software, the driver software, because I like NVIDIA experience because they optimize my game. Like, I got like a nice way to optimize.
I know what you mean.
So that's my biggest gripe with them. Also, my art's taken a bit of a hit because I always believe, like, if you want to do proper rendering stuff, you get yourself an NVIDIA Quadro card. Not mining, rendering. I'm talking about 3D rendering and stuff like that, which is mostly what I used to do. And then I realized that Quadro is not going to do well with games, so I got a GeForce and GTX, and then obviously, eventually the last card I got was a MSI Radeon RX 580 Armor OC 8GB. It's a long ass thing, but it's a good card. My only problem is that specific card has known heating issues, and I live in Africa, so in summer I barely can play anything, and that's not AMD's fault because MSI also tweaked some things there, and they did their thing. And I'm a huge MSI fanboy, so you're not going to hear me say a word of evil towards them. But the drivers keep on crashing my Photoshop.
Yeah, that's a problem.
I've been given, like, I've sent a report and they've given me an update. They've told me how to fix it, like how to do that. The guys have given the guys at Adobe really helped me out with that. But the fact is, I've been going through NVIDIA cards and not once has a driver crashed. My Photoshop crashes. You already know that I had to move to hit film because After Effects and Premiere couldn't render our podcasts.
Yeah.
but that was an audio problem.
Yeah.
The my Substance Painter software, which I use for 3D texturing, has a problem with my AMD card. So I don't think it's so much like the developer's fault or AMD's fault. It's just one of the two aren't connected, because I believe that AMD products are, first of all, they're gearing up for mining pretty in a pretty substantial way. Like their cards are doing really well on the mid mining section of the bench. I mean, obviously, like the RXs and the 3080s of those guys are obviously at the top, because they're big beefy motherfuckers. But AMD's gonna come back and they're gonna do something, and they're gonna make something better. They probably already have. I mean, they already got the Republic of Gamers. They fucking, I mean, the Rogs. So they're amazing. I just feel like, for me, if I wanted a gaming PC, just gaming, AMD fucking always wins.
So remember, this is one of those hypotheticals where you say, one day when I'm rich,
no,
I will have I'll have a gaming PC and a.
I wouldn't.
Wouldn't you?
No. Truth be told, if I had my option, I would get an AMD rig for gaming. I would get Intel NVIDIA rig for mining. If I wanted to mine, still like proper mine. And if I wanted to a proper work computer, I know it goes against everything inside thing, I would get a Mac.
Yeah.
The reason being is I have used Macs in the workspace. I believe that when it comes to working with a Mac in a workspace, like in a professional sense of business wise, PC can do just the same. But my reason isn't the quality or who's better. The reasoning is, if I'm on my computer and I'm working, I'm fucking going to stop working, slack off, and play games. If you give me a Windows computer that I have to work on and I'm not supervised, I'm going to slack off, install games, and play on the computer, or go, why am I wasting my time? I'm just going to go play on my gaming computer.
Yeah.
If you put me in front of a Mac, it gives me that air that you're trapped here. Fucking work. So I'm doing it because of my personal feeling towards it. I'm not saying Mac is better for working. I'm not saying PC can't do anything. Yeah. I'm saying, because I procrastinate a lot,
rather have something you don't like.
No, rather work on something that I will have a hard time finding a game to play on, or want to play a game on it.
Yeah.
For Mac, with me, because subconsciously it's been honed in, when I went to work, I worked on a Mac. That's my thing. Yeah. And I mean, I don't like Mac because of the expenses, because of the things, but at the same time,
it's the way it is.
It's nice for work.
Yeah.
Although I wouldn't store my stuff on iCloud. We all know how that goes.
Yeah. So I don't think we really have anything else.
No.
Should we wrap up?
I think this is it. This is going to be it for the PD.
Yeah.
The podcast. Oh, by the way, we haven't really mentioned who we were.
We did actually.
We did say Tuesday support.
No, we said Tristan and Justin.
No. I'm talking about, but they don't know them. I mean, no one really knows the Tuesday report. They know us as the Poverty Cast.
Sorry. Yeah. This is the Poverty Cast.
The Acquisitions Cast.
The Acquisitions Cast.
Which we can't call ourselves today, but we try.
Yeah, today's no Acquisitions Cast. The Acquisitions Cast.
I did speak of
acquisitions. True.
I still found a way to get it in there,
See?
Even though it wasn't anything to do with the fact.
No, but you've got it.
Yeah.
It's well done. Well done, us.
We didn't get crazy CEO, but we got crazy creator.
Yes. Storming out of the courtroom. I can lie, right?
so yeah, I think we did well, guys. Thank you for listening.
Yes, thank you.
Really appreciate whatever support you give. Or if you're one of those people that we somehow became famous somehow, and you somehow stumbled across this, and you're doing it because you think that you're a super fan of us, thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know why you're here. There's probably better content, like further releases.
Much better.
But I appreciate that you're here. Thank you for being here. And I'll tell you what, if you can quote one of these, if you can quote anything that we've said from the first 10 podcasts later in life, I would probably respond to you. I know Justin will respond to you on Twitter, but I will find another way to respond to you.
Yeah, if you see him in real life and said to him, first off, you'll probably be fucking terrified because someone found him. But yes, I would respond on Twitter.
If you're able to comment one of our or quote us from one of our first 10 podcasts. I mean,
celebratory blowjobs all around.
Yeah. So, by all means, feel free to contact us. I am not really contactable, but you can contact Justin.
Yes. So on the Twitters,
Yes.
I won't give my phone number. It will be no at LC_Lupus on the Twitters. I actually think I'm under the exact same thing on Instagram, but that's like I post pictures of my dog.
I look at people's pictures on Instagram and then I go, fuck, why do I have this application installed? And then I realize my phone doesn't allow me to delete it. Just disable.
Shame. So yes. And then you can find me on YouTube, LC Lupus, not underscore though. Mm-hmm. Just L C Lupus. Or if you're an American, C Lupus. Because you call them periods for some reason. Anyway. And yes, that's about it. My latest video was about ethics. It was very sad. Next one's about movies. It'll be fun.
Yeah, ethics, I have to say it was pretty good. I already told you that I enjoyed
Thank
it.
you.
So, guys, this is his opinion, so take a look at it. It's very informative. It's very entertaining. If you like his stuff, subscribe to him.
Yes, and it's also sad.
It's sometimes it's sad, sometimes it's fun. Can't wait for the next.
Although I must say one thing, that you messaged me about it, because you messaged me saying, it was something along the lines of, "It's great to see you broken."
Yes, it's absolutely amazing when you see the light. Finally, it looked like you were holding onto the light, and it was so painful that you finally just let it go, and the glint just disappeared in your eye. It was one of the most amazing moments of my YouTube life.
Why, thank you.
Watching that, because the thing is, now whenever I see you, I can see the glint is gone, and it's not like just watching a YouTube, but I can, for the time being, I can come to your house and I can see the glint is gone.
But fuck, that message was great. I was just like, Jesus, just.
You're pouring your heart and soul out, and here I am laughing at your pain.
Anyway. But yes, so that's it, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I only have one thing left to say. Do you have anything left to say before I say my final thing? Well then, I love you. So much. The glint has left my eyes just...